Hello, guys and gals, and welcome to another episode of Unique Items. Today we're going to be looking at another one of the rogue uniques, which is a ring. It is known as the Saboteur's Signet. The Saboteur's Signet is specifically built around grenades, and there's actually a whole arsenal of stuff that we can explore today when it comes to grenades, and talk about some of the stuff when it comes to this particular ring. First off, let's go over the ring, and then we'll talk about some of the other stuff afterwards. So the ring gives you 10% all resistances, which is pretty standard across all rings, and it also gives you 10% shadow res, which is pretty standard. It does have a bonus damage to grenades, so it has 203 to 275% grenade damage, which if you're doing a grenade build, seems like a pretty good option to throw into the mix. We also have a 29 to 42.5% stun grenade size, which is going to help, obviously, get your stun grenades to be much bigger. On top of this, it also has a bonus of +1 energy when a stun grenade explodes, which means that you're going to be getting energy back as you fire off more and more stun grenades. And there's actually a lot of stun grenades. So, when you do get, a stun grenade pack dropping, sometimes it'd be 5 or 6 stun grenades, so it ends up being a total of, say, 5 or 6 pack, when you get a stun cluster, and then each one explodes, obviously. You also get some cooldown reduction on here, which certainly isn't bad, a 6 to 8% cooldown reduction. And, of course, all of these can be masterworked and can also be found in greater affixes to get those much, much, much higher, right? The stun grenade size is going to cap out at 100%, but things like the grenade damage could definitely go a lot higher. The energy when a stun grenade explodes would definitely be very interesting. And even the cooldown reduction, honestly, very interesting as well. Now, the main ability of this is that casting a core skill has up to a 45% chance to throw stun grenades that deal 8,020 physical damage and stuns enemies for 1 second. Your stun grenades also gain a 5% lucky hit chance bonus, which is interesting. Now, if you throw stun grenades normally, they will get just, okay damage. Let me just go ahead and grab the stun or smoke grenade skill real quick, just because. This is just one of the many grenade skills. So the smoke grenade skill, as you can see, it's a little bit different, right? The stun grenade skill is actually like this. And let's see if I can get one to proc real quick. As you can see, we got the stun grenades on the first shot there. And then we got them on the second shots. And so forth and so on. So we're getting multiple stun grenades coming out from the Saboteur Signet. Now, if you fire off your ability quickly enough, you should see many, 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 many of these stun grenades happening all at once. In fact, let's go ahead and do a full rotation here. So I'm going to try not to use any of my other abilities, but as you can see, we're getting a large number of stun grenades that are proccing constantly. This is just one way, obviously, that you can have a large number of stun grenades happening on a regular basis. This enhances your stun grenades, gives them more lucky hit bonus, gives you energy back while you're firing your stun grenades, and also, of course, gives you stun grenade size, grenade damage. I mean, the whole 9 yards. It's actually a very, very good ability. A ring, specifically if you're building into that sort of thing.
Mr. Goody Two Shoes, Mr. Goody Two Shoes. Ginger Evil Mentor here. Why bother farming when you can go to MMOEXP.com and simply purchase your items in gold? GGM would have you farm the items. What a pathetic being. Use code GEM Ginger Evil Mentor for 6% off your entire purchase. And don't tell Ginger Gaming Mentor that I was here.
Now, there's a lot more that you can potentially do when it comes to grenades, and there are so many aspects that have to do with grenades, and I feel like that's something that we need to explore here and talk about. So we're going to head over to the occultist, and I'm going to pull up just grenade, and we're going to type in grenade, and as you can see, we have a large number of grenade related aspects. We have the escape artist, which is upon taking damage from surrounding enemies, you drop a smoke grenade and dodge the next 2 to 7 attacks within 10 seconds and can occur only once every 20 seconds. We also have offensive aspects like the aspect of Artful Initiative, which is when you spend 75 energy, you release a cluster of exploding stun grenades that deal 3,890 total physical damage and stun enemies for 1 second. Your stun grenades now deal 40% increased damage, which would also apply to the stun grenades coming from the Saboteur Signet, and likewise back and forth. The additional damage that you have from Saboteur Signet would apply to these stun grenades as as well. On top of this, you also have the +1 energy when a stun grenade explodes, which would also apply to these stun grenades when they explode, giving you more energy back. On top of this, we also have the aspect of the Iron Rain, which is smoke grenades, have a 50% chance to create an arrow storm. We also have aspect of the Surprise, which is when you evade or shadow step, you drop a cluster of exploding stun grenades that deal 6,015 total damage, and also stun grenades now deal 40% increased damage. So in the same exact way, these stun grenades are also going to be beefed up by, of course, the Saboteur Signet. You get the additional energy. You're also going to get the additional damage. And also the Saboteur Signet stun grenades are going to be enhanced by these as well. The Opportunist aspect, when you enter or break stealth, you drop a cluster of exploding stun grenades around you that deal 6,617 total physical damage and stun enemies for 1 second. Again, we get another bonus damage to the stun grenades, which is going to apply to all of the stun grenades, same as everything else. So as you can see here, we already have 1, 2, right? 3 different stun grenade aspects that could be potentially added in with this, and these 3 stun grenade aspects are all going to synergize with Saboteur Signet, making for a kind of a crazy build of just dropping grenades everywhere. We also have the Trickster's grenade aspect, which is caltrops and smoke grenades receive your stun grenade benefits, which is going to obviously give all of your smoke grenades an energy when a stun grenade explodes, the grenade damage that we're getting from all the various other things. So that means that the smoke grenades are now going to also benefit from Saboteur Signet. And you're also going to get an additional 40% damage to your stun grenades. Which means that if you stack Tricksters, Active Surprise, the Opportunist aspect, and the Artful Initiative, you can get some pretty crazy grenade crap going on. Also, the aspect of Iron Rain has to do with the smoke grenade, right? And then this one turns the smoke grenade into a stun grenade as far as benefits are concerned, so we're back to kind of a similar thing here. So now smoke grenade is also being added into the mix. Then we also have the utility aspects, which have to do with grenades. So your grenade skills count as trap skills whenever you arm a trap or drop grenades. You get a 25% increased movement speed bonus. Now, the real meat and potato of this is not the movement speed. It's your grenade skills now count as trap skills. This means that you can scale your grenade skills with trap damage. And anything that would enhance traps is going to also enhance your grenades. Aspect of Quickening Fog, also you automatically drop a smoke grenade at the end of a dash. Smoke grenades reduce dash's cooldown by 0.65 seconds for each enemy hit, up to 1.95 seconds. And then we also have the Frostbitten aspect, which is enemies hit by your stun grenades have a chance equal to your critical strike chance to be frozen for 2 seconds. You deal 25 times increased critical strike damage against frozen or stunned enemies. So as you can see here, there's just so many aspects that have to do with the grenades, and potentially adding them all up could equal into this absolutely crazy build where, like, you dodge and, you evade and you get grenades, you attack and you get grenades, you do like pretty much anything, and grenades are just like popping out of every single orifice of your body apparently, and just constantly exploding all over the place. You can set them up as traps so that you can scale them based on trap damage, and there's a lot of ways that you can potentially scale based on trap damage, not only in the glyphs but also in the Paragon boards. Like, for instance, we have the Deadly Ambush, which is you deal 23% times increased critical strike damage to enemies affected by your trap skills. Since your grenades are now trap skills, this is going to work. On top of this, we also have things like the Paragon glyph, or the glyphs themselves. So there's glyphs in here that have to do with grenades. There's glyphs in here that have to do with trap skills. So like this one in particular, which is for every 5 intelligence person within range, you gain 2.6% increased damage to your trap skills. Non-ultimate trap skills get 25 times increased radius, which is also going to affect your grenades, because now they are trap skills if you're using that particular aspect that makes them into trap skills, right? And to take it even further, you also get like this particular aspect, which gives you stun grenade damage, right? But also gives you a 15% damage reduction for 2 seconds after dropping a stun grenade. Well, if you're utilizing the stun grenades, you can just drop 10 trillion stun grenades and always have the 15% times damage reduction. And then we can just keep going down the list. There's so many various things in here that are definitely going to help you. Like, enemies affected by your trap skills take 10% increased damage from you, and 2% increased damage to targets affected by trap skills. And the amount of ways that you can potentially scale these grenades, given that you're turning them into a trap skill with that particular aspect, the frostbitten aspect, or not the frostbitten, explosive, or which one is it? I can't even remember. The trickster's aspect. Yes, caltrops and smoke grenades, or receive your stun grenades benefits. No. There's so many in here. Like, I can't keep it all straight in my head. Yeah, there it is. Explosive verb. Your grenade skills now count as trap skills whenever you arm a trap or drop grenades. So the interesting thing here is that there's definitely a build that could be potentially made. You could figure out which ones are most important, you know, prioritize obviously some of them. Some of them may not be the best to add into this particular build. Like, obviously there's no way you're going to be able to do all of these aspects and utilize every single one. But you're going to have to pick and choose between the ones that are going to work into the build to make your Saboteur Signet ring better. On top of this, you could be simply just using them to get additional damage bonuses. Maybe you're not scaling the grenades themselves, but maybe instead of scaling the grenades, you are scaling just simply the additional damage. As we looked at earlier, there's things that will give you additional bonus damage just for something being affected by a trap skill. And since the grenades can technically be a trap skill, and whenever you drop your grenades, the monsters are now affected by a trap skill, then you're going to get that damage multiplier for obviously just dropping grenades all over the place, which is also something interesting. On top of that, if you're not scaling them for damage, you could just simply be scaling them for the energy return. As you can clearly see, on here we have the +1 energy when a stun grenade explodes, which of course is going to give us an additional bonus, obviously, every single time we get a stun grenade exploding. We don't have to use the stun grenade for damage to get the energy back. We could just simply be using it as a method to restore a massive amount of energy to our character and utilizing it exactly as intended to just restore all of our energy back to our bar, enabling for maybe like the ability to spam, you know, a core skill. And since it procs on a core skill that is potentially consuming large amounts of energy, you're going to get a pretty nice return back, considering, you know, that it's giving you a decent amount of energy back per stun. And I believe that's also affected by resource regeneration as well, if you have a decent amount of resource generation. And then, like I said, if you can get a greater affix of that, that would have to make it even better in terms of the generation that you're getting back. So as you can see, there's a lot of fun ways that you could potentially utilize the Saboteur Signet ring into a build. Whether you're just trying to stack the stun grenade damage, whether you're trying to use the stun grenade specifically to gain damage bonuses, or whether you're just trying to, you know, utilize that energy return so that you're getting a large amount of energy back every single time you get those free grenades popping off, right? But it's interesting for sure. Where can you potentially get this if you want to farm it? Well, if you take a look on Diablo 4.life, we do have a little tool that can help you figure that out. It's on the tools, target farming uniques, and here you can go over and you see that it's Grigore, the Galvanic Saint. So if you're trying to get your hands on this particular one, you definitely want to go take a look at Grigore. As always, I do appreciate you guys and gals joining me for these videos. It's fun to do these not only for me, not only for you guys, but for me as well, because I like learning about all the different things, getting build ideas in my head, and, you know, just figuring out what I might want to play around with next. If you do enjoy the content, be sure to hit that like button and the subscribe button. I'm going to be putting out tons more of these videos as we approach the Season 6 Vessel of Hatred expansion for Diablo 4. And as always, keep watching.